This program is brought to you through the kind support of the Friends of That's What She Said and Taylor Backus Glass. Support BCTV by visiting bctv.org/support.
It used to be great, now it's not so great. But it's still pretty great. Reading. It used to have lights, then it didn't have lights. New, with LED lights. Pagoda. Did they really say that? They did not say that. Yeah, they did say that. That's what she said.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of That's What She Said, our bi-monthly, every other Wednesday fun fest. Tonight we're doing things a little bit differently, but let me give you the number to call because we love to take your calls. It's 610-378-0426, or you can tweet us at @SheTweetsToMe, if you know how to do that sort of thing. I don't. I just know how to collect them if they happen to come in. Anyway, our usual panel is here. I am, of course, Jane Street. Next to me we have
Sheila Harrington.
She Who Knits.
Yes, she's knitting today. I changed it up. I know Jane doesn't like my other colors. So.
I didn't care for those springy pinks. I mean, they look nice on flowers. I don't like them on knitted things. That one's fabulous.
Oh, good.
I think it's a wonder of sparkles
I
and
like better, too.
yes. Okay, see there.
Here we are.
I don't knit, and I'm Ellen Gallagher.
And I do knit, but not on the show. I'm Martha Richardson.
And I'm Kira Apple.
Is there some project we could get where we could all be knitting at one big thing? Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be fun.
On a huge circular needle.
Yes.
I just pass it around.
Fascinating TV it would be.
We'll
yes.
Correct all of my
you will look
mistakes.
I always do well.
So tonight, because at random times all of us have been asked, how do you come up with the ideas for the show? And we thought we'd take a little trip backstage, and so we had our producer and our mentor, our lovely wizard of all things technical and video, Jamie Howard Lawrence, bring his video camera to our breakfast meeting that we always have the Saturday before we tape so we can figure out what the heck we're doing. Well, let's go to that first one and that first video, and this is how we started off. Good morning and welcome to our That's What She Said breakfast meeting, where we come up with the ideas for our upcoming show. So we're going to have a little nosh, have a little caffeine, which we desperately need, and join us, won't you? I have a motion for the table. That we make these breakfast meetings cocktail meetings.
I would absolutely work. Meaning we start cocktails at 8:30 in the morning?
No.
Light mimosas.
Well, it would all be more humane and we would all be more focused if we did it like a cocktail hour type thing.
Thank you. You're welcome. Anyone else?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So I think whenever we can, let's do it that way.
Yesterday we went for our walk, Mona and I, and she flushed out a wild turkey. She just kind of, and the turkey flopped. It takes a lot of wings to get a turkey up off the ground.
That could be a fun topic, actually. Why don't we have like pet update? And you could talk about Mr. Tumnus and everybody could. That's good. That's fine.
Pounds and has a beautiful coat.
Everybody has their pets that they can talk
I
about.
hope
So.
Thomas hasn't gained 25 pounds. He's a chunky monkey.
He's actually lost weight.
Yeah.
How much does he weigh? Well, when we first brought him in, it was like 18-something, but this was after he'd been sick, so he might have actually lost weight too. I knew he wasn't yet 20 pounds when we got him from the ARL. Now he's 17.5 last time we took him.
Okay, and Sheila, we haven't talked about your pets
My
before,
cat.
so you would have to tell us about yours.
He's chunky too. I'm pretty sure he's gaining weight. He looks kind of like Mr. Thomas. He's a little orange cat. He's bad. He eats paper. He eats books.
See that? And that's without the cocktails. But yes, let's first have the update on Mr. Tumnus.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Tumnus was, I don't remember if I actually spoke about him on the show before, but Mr. Tumnus was the Wise Owl Bookstore shop cat. We adopted him from the Animal Rescue League in August of last year, maybe the beginning of September, and had him for a good long while, 6-7 months, and then he just wasn't really acclimating himself to the store as well as I would have hoped, so I brought him home, and then maybe a week after that, he started showing signs of being sick. He wasn't eating, he was throwing up, so we took him in, and it turned out he had a really long undiagnosed bladder infection that permanently damaged his kidneys. So that was really expensive, and he's been in and out of the vet a couple of times, 3 times now, in the last month or so. But he's home now. He's on some wonderful medication that has helped him a whole bunch. The vets at Willow Creek were amazing and super supportive and very, very helpful. And we got a lot of help with funds from our customers and our friends, so that was really amazing. So he's doing really, really well. I mean, I'm not going to say 100% because he's always going to have issues, but I think he's really happy, a lot happier than he was. He's doing very, very well.
So good to
and
hear.
he's lost weight, like I mentioned on the video, which is kind of a plus because he was, if anyone has seen him, they'll know he was a bit of a chunker. So
I love that.
Fluffy.
He was
fluffy.
He had a very rubbable belly. Still rubbable, but slightly more svelte.
And I should mention that thank you, Kira, for hosting our breakfast at the shop.
My pleasure. That was a lot of fun.
And if you would like to, she's still collecting donations for Mr. Tumnus's recovery campaign. If you stop by the store, there's a lovely, which you should do anyway. There's a little canister, and you can help Mr. Tumnus come along. Wait, what was it? How was Miss Mona?
Mona is doing very, very well. I think the message we're going to get here is that pets are expensive.
Yeah, that was kind of our point.
They require a lot of care.
Yeah.
And when we first rehomed Mona, which was last July, we weren't aware of some of the issues that we had to deal with before too long, but she went through several surgeries. She went into heat. She adopted kittens, which then added additional expenses. But we have now gone from, I'm going to say, beginning of January to May without a visit to the vet. And so 5 months out of 12.
I know how good that feels.
This is bad. And, as I had said there, she flushed out a turkey the other day. And when you see a 106-pound dog running after a 27-pound wild turkey, and the turkey is flapping as hard as he can, and Mona's running as fast as she can. I wish I had Jamie there to take it.
Yeah.
I assume you weren't connected to Mona.
No, I was not. No, she was off leash at the time. Thank goodness.
And Chooch
Chooch was just to visit the vet today to get his shots, whatever shots he had to get. It's been almost a year since we adopted him, rescued him. He has gained 25 pounds. He has the most beautiful coat. He weighs exactly 100 pounds now. And
that's really quite a nice increase
from
where he had
been.
been.
He really weighed 75 or 73 actually when we got him.
Wow.
And he also, we had quite a bit of vet expense because he had been a stray. I have no idea what he was eating, but it has taken us almost a year to get his intestinal problems worked out. We've finally gotten rid of the problems, his digestive problems, as well as the most incredible gas. He would just clear the room.
Chooch the
Got
pudding
that.
hoop.
Exactly.
Now, it's not your pet, but Sheila showed us a little picture earlier of this her friend's cat whose little paw was under the door, which has these little caps on its claws so it can't scratch things. But there's this little white paw with hot pink.
Little fake pink nails.
It's wonderful. But how's your...
My cat is good.
You're fuzzy, lovable.
Yeah, he's about to cost me another expense as well. He needs a haircut. He's long overdue. He jumped off the bed the other day. Hair went flying. He's got, like, fur coming out of everywhere.
I didn't know cats you got their hair cut.
I do. Yeah,
Really?
he gets a haircut. He gets like a little, like a Simba haircut.
Oh, really?
He looks like a baby lion. They give him a little puff on the tail. They leave his face. Like, they pretty much leave his face and his tail.
Is he a long hair?
No, but
Like
it's not
medium?
short hair. Yeah,
Medium.
he's fluffy. And
Yeah.
he's thick.
We definitely can get him groomed, and
Yeah,
assuming
that's
that,
okay.
they could totally cut their
Yeah.
hair.
I need a Floby for my cat who just.
Floby. Oh.
It's like a walking puff of. It's like Pigpen but with fur.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere you go, there's this.
Fur everywhere.
Uh-oh. Jamie's telling me we must move along. Enough with the pets.
But in spite of all the expenses,
Oh my!
we are
Oh
so
my
happy.
goodness! Yes,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Yes.
yes. I mean,
It's
they
just
bring so
something-
much to your life that.
Yes.
But you need to know, if you're going to adopt a pet, that you never know what baggage you're going to have to...
Indeed.
Even with puppies and kittens.
Oh, absolutely.
It just happens.
It's expensive.
Yeah. So, what's up on our next little segment of Breakfast Talk?
And I've had parents who said to me, hey, they're in your school, that's your problem. You know, he doesn't do homework, not my problem. He doesn't have time, he's on the wrestling team.
Well, you know, to a certain extent, it is not their problem. It is the child's problem. It's time for the child to step up and accept the responsibility of
That
his
doesn't
homework.
happen as a gift of God. That
And we
happens
also-
as a parent
We're a gifted
encouraging.
child.
That's not how the system's set up, though. The system's not set up for the child
No,
to take
it's not.
responsibility for themselves.
It isn't
And
any longer.
the onus shouldn't be on them.
No.
Because if they were raised from an age to think, yes, you're responsible for this, then it'd be a different story. But
Well, the broader issue is that we as a society are moving further away from actually taking responsibility for anything we do. It's all someone else's fault. And
in a school,
Society's
you
fault.
can't do what you want to do.
There's a topic,
What is that?
the societal abandonment of responsibility.
Tonight, on a very special episode of that.
With the societal thing, do we want to talk at all about the Boston
I think that could,
Marathon
you could go there.
and how the community apparently was unaware of them, and then the terrible thing that happened in Cleveland.
Yeah, I
and
think
how
that's...
unaware the community was that
Yeah.
of what was going
Yeah.
on, and how unaware his family was. And
Yeah.
the
I think that
residents
can just kind of go there.
An interesting connection, but I
He was
don't
so
know.
right.
So, of course, we've talked about it before. We will talk about it again, and gosh darn it, we're going to talk about it again now. The release of the inability to take responsibility for anything we do is becoming more and more prevalent in our society. Discuss.
Well, I personally see it a lot because working with a lot of high school students, you know, if something doesn't work out the way they think it should, the way they want it to, without, you know, them being deserving of it, it's kind of like, well, you did. They're so very quick to point fingers. You know, it didn't work out because you didn't do this or that one didn't. Nobody ever says, okay, yes, I messed up. I did it, you know. And it's sad because
Sheila, I see that at the college level as well.
you see that at every level, I think.
Absolutely.
Adults,
It's
students.
always, and only a few cases, but there were some very acute cases that I found this semester more than ever, where everything was somebody else's fault. That student that was failing the course, it was everybody else's fault but that student's.
Right.
And although all sorts of help was offered and given,
They don't take advantage of
no.
it. And then are quick to point fingers.
Right.
And I think it's an even broader issue in that all of us as members of society have certain responsibilities to our neighbors. We have to live together within our communities, and I think even that sort of feeling of responsibility is not with us. If there is a problem, it's someone else's fault.
It's a fine line, though, and after our breakfast the other morning, Barry and I were talking about this, and I mentioned what we had talked about. And I said, but it's a very fine line. As teachers, we have the responsibility. It is a requirement if we suspect abuse of any kind that we report it. Sometimes the children and youth organization will investigate and find that it's non-founded, but it may actually have had some basis, and then we never know if the parents are going to be even harder on the child than had we not reported them. It's a fine line. But what we talked about at home was when we first moved into our neighborhood, the man across the street was beating his wife. And a few weeks after we moved in during the summer, we heard her screaming, "Help me, help me." And he was dragging her, and he had actually, we found out later, broke her arm. We called the police. Everybody's windows were open. We called the police. The police came in and arrested him. And word got out. We were the scourge of the neighborhood for a while because this apparently had been going on long before we moved in. We were the only ones who had ever called the police.
So they kind of looked like you started trouble, right?
Right,
Like you started
right,
up things.
right.
And this is something that came up at the meeting because there is that fine line of what's responsible action and what's busybodiness. I mean, certainly in this case, yes.
And we knew he was hurting her, and
yes.
he did in fact break her arm among whatever else he did to her. I'm not sure how it got out. That should have been a confidential call to the police. But obviously somebody from the police told somebody else that we had made the call.
Well, they probably assumed since you were new and no one had ever called that it would be you and be the new people.
Must have been those people at 10:02, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I find it really interesting, that whole idea of the lack of responsibility, how much more frequently now in the store I'm getting requests for Ayn Rand. I don't know how many of you have read Atlas Shrugged, but I mean the whole idea of materialism, the whole idea of look out for yourself first. Don't let the leeches of society bring you down. And it's sort of that idea that anyone who needs something from you is a harmful thing. Instead of wanting to reach out and help other people and supporting people who need the help. Look out for yourself, and anyone who needs something from you is a leech. That materialistic.
But what I'm seeing on the internet a lot, and I do spend a lot of time there, is that there's a strange symbiotic relationship between sort of a fundamentalist Christian view and Ayn Rand, which doesn't really seem to. It's like putting a square. I'm sure
I never read it that way.
Exactly, because it has been a long, long time since I read Atlas Shrugged. And,
come back around.
I think I still have my copy. But my interpretation of it was very different. It was, you take care of yourself first so that no one else has to. That was kind of the individualist kind of point of view. If everybody meets his own needs, then we don't need to have other people taking care of us.
But I think the point, and what other people are latching onto, is that, or not even other people are latching onto, but there's some people that can't help themselves. Who cannot, which is why we have welfare programs, which is why we have programs for learning disabilities, which is why we have programs for physical disabilities. Some people can't. And to look at those people as a drain is...
But I don't think she did that.
But that is being pulled out of it.
One of the most frightening things that I heard was a friend of mine taught a group of freshmen, college freshmen. It's freshman seminar. The topic she decided would be poverty and education. And part of the semester had already gone by, and they had talked about poverty issues until finally one young girl stood up and said, "I'm tired of talking about the poor. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to do anything for the poor.
Wow.
I'm not interested in this. I don't understand why we're spending so much time talking about poverty. It doesn't involve me." That's frightening to me at a college level. Freshmen, of course, are freshmen, but that somebody would actually have said that.
No, I do think we're losing sight of that we're stronger acting as a global community than we are just focusing on ourselves. Yes.
And still we're doing all these required community service projects in high school, which I've always... Volunteerism shouldn't be required, but we are now requiring it as a graduation, something to do before you are allowed to graduate. Is it not making the difference? Obviously, it seems to have a reverse huge reverse effect.
Hopefully it's something they understand as they become more involved.
Well, as we talk about responsibility, this sort of leads us into our next breakfast topic. So let's hear about it, shall we?
We did it last year. We didn't do it.
How about guns on campus?
Oh.
Well, hey, I get all the bulletins, so I know the most updated about that is that they're fighting it to an extent. I mean, not fighting it, but for those of you who don't know, in order to be what's the word? Politically respectful of the Second Amendment, they are looking to or have already amended their rules on campus to allow anyone who's not going to a university event or going to class or isn't an official of the university or blah, 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 basically random Joe off the street who isn't planning to go to an event or a class can carry a government-issued firearm. And that was it. That's the statement that came out. People were like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, because why do we need guns on campus at all? But what they're saying is it's public property. They're saying if you're not there to go in a building and you're not there as an employee, you can have a firearm because that's the law. You can carry your licensed weapon anywhere.
It seems to be up for interpretation lately, but the Second Amendment does say well-regulated militia. And
yeah, did you see that great commercial where the guy walks into the office building and he misses because it's a musket, and then he's taking the time to reload it, and so everyone just runs out of the building? It's really, really good. Our guns have changed, shouldn't our gun laws? Bam!
Well, bam indeed.
Okay.
And I'll take this moment to remind you that the number is 610-378-0426, or tweet us at @SheTweetsToMe. That was the discussion. We learned that I guess apparently now you can carry under certain strictures guns on the Kutztown campus.
Concealed, yeah. I read more about it since we met and spoke, but I guess you were always allowed to. First of all, Kutztown's not the first state campus that has implemented this. They're just the most recent. And I don't know how official it is because it's still under consideration. They're still looking into it. And Ceballos, the president, has come out and said he doesn't want guns on campus, but they have to honor the spirit of the law, and it is public property.
They couldn't enforce the law to not have them there.
Right.
They can't say that people are not allowed to have them there.
Right. So
there is an age qualification as well. If you are 21 and you have a gun permit, you can carry a concealed weapon, but anyone 18 or older can carry one openly.
Right. It's the concealed
without a permit.
Right. Yeah.
Concealed is one of the problems.
Concealed's the new one. Yeah. That
just doesn't make sense.
Because people then know you have it, so it's not sort of something that can be
but if it's out
surprised.
in the open, then that's an issue.
And then, of course, the question is they're allowed on campus but not in the buildings. So what happens when you get to a building? There you have your gun.
Yes,
what are you going to
quote,
do?
what are we going to have, gun racks instead of bike racks? Yeah, I read that
the other
article.
issue was government issued. Who has a government issue?
Well, I think I misspoke.
Yeah.
I do. I think it was actually a
government permit.
A government permit,
but I think the paper used that term too, public government issued.
Yeah, well, maybe that's where
Unless that's what that refers to.
I mean, a permit.
Maybe that's what that means.
Like
I mean,
have to be
technically, if they give you a permit, they're issuing it.
Right.
So.
There was a quote from campus security said, if you don't feel safe walking from wherever you live to campus, we will provide you with a ride or security. All you have to do is call the number.
Yes.
Well, or from downtown somewhere to campus. He said if there apparently the question was people who were living in whatever area felt unsafe walking to campus from their living quarters, and campus security
There's a lot of
said,
off-campus student
we
housing
would
that's like
all you have to do
farther
is call our number, and we will gladly provide that. And I know that's not at all right, too.
And I do want to... Sorry.
It would be great to hear from the people of Kutztown.
Oh, it would be.
Because there have been a lot of concerns by the people in Kutztown about various problems having to do with students living in their midst. So
and I think it needs to be said that to think this is a little wacky. You don't have to necessarily be anti-gun. I personally like going out target shooting. Just call me Annie Oakley. We actually had once talked about me going out traipsing through the woods hunting with some friends of Ellen's, which, who knows, could be an amusing little side
Did
trip.
it there when they saw the wild turkey?
Yes.
November.
All right. See, the problem is hunters get up so early. I don't know. Animals, I see animals running around all day. You'd think you could go later, but they don't agree with that. And speaking of animals, can we move along or do
I think so.
And speaking of animals, she said with a gentle segue, roll that next piece of breakfast memorabilia.
That's good. Jay, would you like to tell us what is in this?
Oh, in this? I don't know. It's eggs, cheese, Morningstar Farms, bacon. No, not bacon.
Sausage.
Which is what?
Soy-based sausage.
Okay.
And some little potato chunks and what else?
It's cottage cheese and hash browns.
Hash browns.
And it's Amish breakfast casserole, so thematically and geographically appropriate.
Amish. What makes it Amish? Fresh
I don't
chopped
know.
Mennonite.
The name.
Is that what it is? I thought, yeah.
Let's talk about meat analogs, since we've just eaten some of them.
Oh, fake meat.
Right. Now, how was it? Did you all enjoy the sausage?
Oh, wonderful. It didn't taste like sausage, but it's served with
sausage-like.
It tastes like sausage, just doesn't, the texture is not sausage.
Yeah.
I like that.
Now, there are some people, some vegetarians, who say that's wrong. To eat anything that is an analog of meat is against the whole vegetarian philosophy.
Precept.
Then there are others who say, well, it tastes good, so let's eat it.
Aren't there many different vegetarian philosophies?
Yes. I think you should eat everything. I like...
And drink everything.
And drink everything.
Omnivore.
Yes, I believe we were born to be omnivores, but whatever floats your boat, that's what makes the phone book. But indeed, Kira is a vegetarian.
I am, but I'm not. I am an ovo-lacto pescatarian.
Oh, what does that mean?
That means I eat eggs and milk and fish.
Okay.
Not so much fish, but I do eat a lot of crustaceans, shrimp and such, crabs. And that's it. It's exactly what you said. There's a lot of different varieties, a lot of different breeds of vegetarian, and vegetarian's kind of a catch-all term that, usually means a whole gamut of things. A true vegetarian eats no animal products, and a true vegan eats no animal products or byproducts.
And I was
milk
in the 80s, in my wild heyday, a macrobiotic, and that lasted about a month until I realized all you'd have time to do is cook.
Yeah.
It's like soak the grains, steam the grains, eat the grains, and then you start again.
Yeah.
And you throw some seaweed on, and it's tasty, but
sounds exhausting.
It doesn't leave a lot of time in your life to do anything but prepare your meals and eat them. So, any other brushes with vegetarianism here?
I think, actually we did give up meat for a summer, and it wasn't, but again, we ate a lot of fish. It was red meat particularly. I think we ate chicken, but red meat wasn't something that I found difficult to give up. We eat so much more red meat than we need. I don't think I could do without eggs and shrimp and all that good stuff, but
it's bacon. Bacon is the downfall of just about
and there's no good substitute. I'll tell you that right now. There is no good substitute.
Unless you're on the Atkins diet, and then bacon is something that you should eat.
Indeed. But
fats are not the bad things. The cholesterol is.
Wow.
The carbohydrates.
The
carbohydrates.
And you couldn't get further from vegetarianism than Atkins.
Than that, yes.
It's like the exact opposite.
Here's a cow, gnaw on it.
Pig. Pig.
Well, either. Just put it around. Let's talk about yourselves. I just cracked myself up.
Do you see this? I don't know. Are more of your friends also? Is it something that a lot of people younger than we are,
a certain age, you mean?
Yes,
well,
that are
yes
going
and
to be...
no. I mean, I wouldn't say so much around this area. I do know. I have a friend in New York who's around my age who is. I have a friend around here who also is like me. She eats just fish, and my mom just started doing it at the beginning of this year, so she's more
and feeling very good about it.
Yeah, and she's much more of a cook than I am, so she's actually got a lot better advantage than me, and she can make her own food. I make Dallas cook for me, so he makes. I mean, it's great because he won't make it unless it tastes good for him too. So I get like top of the line fake taco meat that tastes just like the real thing. And there's so much.
Dallas is a meat eater.
Junk in it. Yes. Oh
I
my
know
gosh.
He likes his
he
bacon.
would never give up his meat ever, ever, ever,
Actually,
ever.
One of Jamie's main complaints about because when I go to his house, he cooks primarily vegetarian at home. But one of the things he pines over is that in New York he could find a product called that was baked tofu. And it had different flavors, and you can't find it around here, apparently. So if anybody out there knows where one can get a package of...
Wegmans?
Oh, well,
maybe.
We haven't tried that. We should go to Wegmans sometime.
Is it pre-baked with like stuff in
What
it?
is...
Yeah, it's baked, but it has different flavors, kind of baked into the tofu.
That sounds good.
Oh, that sounds good.
So it's less watery.
Yeah, that's the problem with the prepackaged extra firm stuff is it's just like sitting in water. Kind of unappetizing.
You had said on Saturday that you're joining a CSA.
I am,
You want to talk a little bit more about that?
A community service agriculture, sourced agriculture. So by every 2 weeks, I guess, or maybe it's every week, we get fresh vegetables from a farm. So that's really cool. And that's even more cool because we barely eat any vegetables. And like sometimes we have like frozen spinach in the fridge, but I swear to God, it's been in there for like 6 months, 8 months. So it'll be great. It'll kind of force us to use it, make soups and veggie sides and things like that. So yeah, and we're looking forward to it, and we're splitting it with my mom and stepdad. So we can split the food and each have our own and not have too much.
Have more variety.
Yeah, and it's just a nice way of getting healthy food.
Cool. I've found out that some of the CSAs also have plans for flowers. Now, to me, that makes sense. You can have
wonderful.
Different flowers.
Yeah,
they
do
grow
that.
all
They do
year
cheese.
long.
They do fruit. I mean, some of the ones out there are pretty cool. Breads, I know. There's one for breads.
And of course,
That's
eggs
wonderful.
and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, quickly, we have to go to break, but do you quickly have a website?
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
You know what? I'll look it
Never
up
mind.
on the break. And,
All right.
and I'll
It
tell
can
you
be on our
afterwards.
website.
Yes, we can post
We
it
do
on
have
that's what she said online.com.
Website.
But for now, we'll take a short break and be back with you on the end of it.
You're watching BCTV.org. Be informed. Be involved. Be a member. For membership information, go to www.bctv.org/support/membership. For other stories and information, go to bctv.org.
Well, that was quick. We
CSA.
certainly missed you. A reminder that the number is 610-378-0426 and @ she tweets to me. Do I need to say the @ sign? I don't know how these things work.
You can say @ she tweets to me.
She tweets to me. All right. Fine. I've been educated. Now, if somebody will just tell me about hashtags, my life will be complete. Our friend Kirk, who he did a little promo for Annie back in
November.
Yes,
show.
he never stops working, so he's doing now a Cage Aux Folles, I believe, in Pottstown, and we're going to try. It was moderately successful last time, but we're going to try to sync in and do a live remote with him now. So can we switch that remote on and see if it works? Kirk, can you?
Hi, Jane. Yes, we're up here at Steel River Playhouse. Nice to see you again. Audio was wacky last time, so I have a headphone this time. So we're here rehearsing, yes, Jane. Yes, I have hair this time.
Yes.
I was bald for the last show. It grew back. But anyway, we're up here rehearsing Cage Aux Folles, and in this show I play Albin, also Zaza, who's in her own mind, the lead player at the Cage Aux Folles in Saint-Tropez. It's a nightclub, and...
What do you mean, he? She.
Yes, she.
She?
Jane. I'm playing a woman, a man who plays a woman.
Why would anyone want to do that?
It's just a good part of Jane.
Seems very odd to me, darling.
How about we meet some of the performers?
Okay.
Swing around with me here.
Swing.
We're technically on break, but a few of the performers are rehearsing their number.
Men in skirts, how strange.
We're missing a lot today. So,
could you gather?
Do you mind if we pause for a second?
Oh, good.
Gather around, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
So, here we have a few of the lovely men who are playing lovely ladies in our show. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Brett. I'm Troy. I'm Zach. I'm Will.
Could you ask them? Yes. Could you ask them what they think about playing women?
Jane wants to know how you feel about playing women. Are you playing? You're not playing women. You're just dressing as women.
Yes.
Indeed. So, got that, Jane?
Well, I suppose.
And over here in the corner we have our fabulous musical director, Deb Snow, and hiding is our stage manager.
But they do.
And actually, walking in here is the man who plays my husband. Just follow me around here. This is Rob. He plays my husband, George. So we make a cute couple.
You certainly do.
And that's it. I mean, I thank you for joining us. We're at Steel River Playhouse. Show runs June 6th through June 23rd. You can check out tickets and that kind of information at www.steelriver.org, and I'm sure they have some little graphic for you up on the screen there. Thank you for popping up, Jane. I know you have to get back to the show, and good seeing you.
Are you sure that's your real hair? You were bald before.
Yes. It is not a wig. It's my hair.
All right.
Thank you.
Fine.
Yeah. Bye, Jane.
Bye. Good seeing you. Oops, there he goes.
Bye,
George. Well.
We should have another show sometime.
You should. That would be nice. We always visit him via video. So yes, that looks like it's going to be a fun show. It's romance, it's humor, it's dance, it's all sorts of things, all thrown together.
It's the show that the Birdcage is based on,
yes,
right?
Yes,
so
the Birdcage. So if you know the Birdcage, or there was a film back in 78 rather.
Really, that long?
That long ago.
Wow.
That was the original that this was based on.
That's the year I was born.
We'll leave that one go. So now it's time for that inevitable surprise topic. Well, it's sort of a joint topic here. Of course, lately we've heard of these scandals in the military with the sexual abuse and. But I don't want to go there. I want to talk about, in the paper recently, there's apparently lots of nude people up at the pagoda.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I have been to the pagoda many times. I've wandered through the woods hunting morels and whatever. I have never found a morel. In fact, I probably wouldn't know what one looked like if I actually did find one.
They would be nude.
They would be nude. What is this with naked people at the pagoda?
The tower has always, and I'm talking way back, has always been a place where kids want to make out. And would actually double park until someone was had had enough and pulled out, and then you pulled into that parking space. I'm not sure about naked running through the woods. I can't claim to do that.
Is that what you're doing?
But
just running through the woods naked?
That's
I've read it.
Yes, I've read 2 articles now, and they say they're frolicking naked in the woods. Well, not frolicking. That was my word.
It's spring. Maybe it's like
running.
a bacchanalia.
It could be a Beltane celebration.
Getting in touch with nature.
Oh my goodness.
Well, let's hope it's nature they're getting in touch with. Anything else would just be disgusting.
No poison ivy, hopefully.
Oh, my goodness.
That would be worse.
Sometime Jamie will have to tell his story about the poison ivy. He's shaking his head no. It wasn't...
naked people at the pagoda.
Yes.
But it's actually further up at the tower.
That's
the
true.
Tower Hotel is.
Indeed.
That's just always
The
been
power of the tower.
the power of the tower.
Wow.
Sounds phallic, doesn't it?
Well, it
Isn't it just one person, though, who has claimed to see naked people?
It is. And you have to wonder if it's
multiple.
just one person, do they just want to see naked
I was
people?
going to say, could it be wishful thinking?
It could be. It's the
Are they there? Or are they like, binoculars and...
it was a gentleman, and he says he was traipsing through the woods, apparently fully clothed, and he saw
what?
naked people while he was...
They were traipsing elsewhere.
It is. I mean...
Is this daylight hours?
It apparently... Well, he saw them.
But he didn't identify gender, so did he? He just said naked people.
Yeah, he did. It was just people.
Yeah, so...
Maybe
the werewolves
they were
after
sprites.
the transformation back,
I'm told we have to leave this subject and go to the next little breakfast vignette. So, roll number 5.
Fake diseases.
Oh, is it really?
Well,
It could be.
Yeah, sure.
it could be. We in the 20th century, we seem to have to make any sort of little diversion off the norm a disease
Label.
label.
Children have to have a label.
And I think we've created not only a label that could be detrimental to folks, but also we've created a huge drug industry around each label that really does nothing to cure, but rather to maintain an illness.
Bravo.
So,
Absolutely.
you think that this could be driven by the pharmaceutical?
It could be, and also people who don't want to take the time to actually accept individualities. I mean, again, and I think it goes to the old back to parenting.
Parents, should you have them or shouldn't you? But indeed, odd is just odd. Why does somebody who isn't a cookie-cutter person have to have some sort of label attached? Can't we just be individuals?
Yeah.
On some, I mean, I'm saying not that you can't go beyond these 2 points, but beyond those 2 points, okay. But there's certainly a lot of gray area that I think people are falling into and being labeled as something other than just someone.
And the more exotic the label, the more people like to talk about it, it seems. And just... when we started talking about diseases, I'm not quite sure what's a disease, what's a syndrome, what's a condition, but one of the medical conditions I have is hypothyroidism, which everybody has that, and everybody's on a medication. When I found out that it is also called Hashimoto's disease,
oh my God.
Wow, that's really kind of special. A claim to fame when you start talking about that. I think the labels help to give people some sort of a feeling that they're unique. And we seem to need that.
I think we were talking at breakfast about, about labels for children. And I'm very concerned about the many labels that we have now given to children. And I have to say that sometimes I have said it has been a way of making parents feel like It's not their fault. But I would like to say something about parents, and I tell this to my students as well. I really do believe that 99 44/100% of the parents are doing the best job they know how. And I think that's important. We tend to find fault with parents, but you know, you may have to get a license or a permit to carry a concealed weapon. You don't have to have a permit. You don't have to take a test to have a child and be a parent. It doesn't come with a manual, and it's difficult. And especially, it's more so today. I'm glad I'm not raising children today. There's so many forces out in society that children are exposed to that they weren't when I was raising children. So in some cases, I think we are over-labeling children. Beyond the labels that concern me, it's the medication that really, with each label comes a different stimulant, depressant, whatever, and that scares me because we have no idea what the side effects or long-term effects of those are.
Indeed.
Having looked into a little bit about the ADHD situation and how prescribing Ritalin seemed to all of a sudden be something that was happening, some statistics I read was that the number of children identified as having ADD or ADHD rose from 2 million in 1990 to 4.6 million in 1996, wow. More than doubled in 6 years.
Have you ever read the symptoms of ADHD?
It sounds
we
like
all have them.
Certainly. An awful lot of the kids
we
I
all
had in
have
school.
them.
I live in fear of going to my doctor.
Right.
What will he discover
But we
today?
all have them.
Indeed. No, I don't, actually. I love going to my doctor. And, oh, there goes that hand going, huh? Oh. It's time.
We'll come back to this. Helen, you and I have so much more on this.
Sorry.
Next time.
Indeed. We'll talk more about drugs next time.
The baseball.
Oh, yes. Let's roll that next thing.
Well, speaking of vegetables, props to Jamie and his wonderful asparagus bed.
All right.
This is the third year of his asparagus bed, and he's been having wonderful asparagus soups and asparagus this and asparagus that. And it's fun. In a day, they'll go from nothing to like that.
Oh, wow.
It's an amazing vegetable, or I guess what is it? It's a fern, I think.
It's a fern.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
I've grown asparagus and then got to the point where I wasn't harvesting it regularly and got the fern.
Oh, yeah.
And they were taking up space that I wanted for something else. So I chopped everything off, figuring that's the end of that. And I think we're now into the 4th year after the chopping off, and I thought nothing was happening this year. And I know we had this conversation about a week ago, and I said, nope, nothing's coming up anymore. I'm free now. I can plant my peas. Well, here they are, and they're that tall, and they just happened in like 2 days. But anyway, it's enough to add a little bit to a salad now.
I planted an herb garden once, and then 3 days later, when it started sprouting, I got a cat, and that was the end of the herb garden. All my sprouts, they're already done. So I haven't grown anything since, even though I have all these seeds, I'm afraid, because he's still a menace. I don't have a garden, molds and seed inside. And there's like squirrels outside. I tried to grow something outside in my last apartment, and the squirrels got it, and the rabbits. It's so a neat idea.
Squirrels.
Now, because we're coming to the end of the quickly to the end of the show, does anyone have anything more to add about spring gardens? Because I want to get on to the next subject.
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Although my beans are doing very well.
Oh, yeah.
Ellen has lovely beans.
And the peas
and
taking
the
over from the asparagus. So, okay.
All
my
right.
next
Roll that
they'll all
next
be
topic.
harvested.
I was thinking of a kind of a sassy or a topic that wouldn't require much thought. something like things I wish I had thought of, or things I wish no one had thought of, or things that I wish someone would think of.
You're talking about inventions, is not opposed to things I wish I'd said.
Well, I think it's open to interpretation. Whatever.
I wish I had never said to Hitler, "You'd be a good leader."
I
don't know what
Must have been drunk.
I never thought I'd have to invoke Godwin's law at the breakfast.
Hitler's art school Ross probably told me, you should get into politics.
Should we wave and say goodbye for now?
Yeah, we need to wrap.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Jane, why don't you take us out?
We're going out.
For lunch.
We thank you all for joining us for our breakfast meeting, and we bid you adieu till we see you on the show. Have a lovely next few days till Wednesday.
We'll see you Wednesday.
Indeed. Bye.
All right.
We'll talk about my... Proving once again that I can't count, because we did that on Saturday, and it was several more days than 2. Anyway, so, yes, this whole concept of things... go ahead, Ellen, it's your topic.
What's my topic? Well, and I said it wouldn't take much thought, but I did think about it. What is one thing that I find very, very helpful, that every time I use it, I think, I wish I would have thought of that. And what came to mind was Velcro. Velcro, it has made life so much simpler, and certainly for children. Putting on shoes, not having to learn to tie shoes, and certainly for skiers and scuba divers and all of those people who have to get in and out of their outfits rather quickly. And I had always been under the impression that it was started by NASA for the space program.
It was Swiss.
It was a Swiss engineer whose name was Georges Lemaitre, and he saw burrs on his dog, and from that got the idea that if the burrs could stick to his dog's fur, couldn't he make something similar? Yes, the hook and the loop.
And it's the same principle as the burr.
Yes, and so he made lots of money out of it.
Yes.
Founded a company, but it was the space program that really promoted it.
So we all need to go into the forest with our dog and
That's
see
exactly
what,
right.
see what comes up, see what sticks.
Mona chasing the tail.
What he didn't invent was something to easily remove the burrs from his dog. Which
he didn't even think about that.
Right. Just clip them off. Right. I would like something that you could put into your refrigerator that after food got moved back beyond the halfway point on the shelf, it would just automatically disintegrate and wind up in a very little container that you could then just empty. Instead of turning into a science fair project back there. Right?
Mold soup. Put it in a soup.
Because I have such good resolutions to have a new refrigerator. I'm going to keep it clean. The shelves pull out. Why couldn't I keep it orderly? I can't. Those things move back, and I look at that bag of what was that? Or a bowl that has, I'm sure, a science fair project would be great. Just something that you could sprinkle back there, that, like a self-cleaning oven.
Oh yeah, self-cleaning.
A self-destroying old food refrigerator. That's what I would like.
Wonderful. I would like an easy cat litter training thing.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Jamie says he tried to. Could you look over there? She's waving the. Thank you. I got it. But yes, I tried to urge Jamie to use one of those cat training things for the cats to use the toilet, but he would have none of it.
Oh.
But
then you also have to teach them to Flush the toilet.
Oh, I
or
don't
else
care
it
about.
sits there all day.
Well, that's fine. It's in water.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Yeah, they need the flush.
The cats actually use the toilet for elimination.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
training steps where.
Yes.
Yeah.
I long ago I tried it with a cat. Well,
No.
there's like it fits over your toilet seat, and it's solid, and you fill it with litter, and you get them used to going into this thing, and then there are little concentric circles, and slowly you
Gets
start
wider.
you start taking the circles out till finally there's nothing but this gaping hole down into the water. And with patience, I'm told that it does work. I gave up.
Cats drowned, do you suppose, in the trial of
Maybe
losing
a
their
kitten.
balance?
Or maybe a kitten, though. But most toilets aren't deep enough for that, I don't think.
Cats really are fast if they fall in.
They touch water and it's like they got a rocket under there.
I had a cat that used a chamber pot. We had an old chamber pot in the bedroom.
Really?
And you didn't train it to?
No, he
just one day he went in there.
Yes.
He smelled the remnants of ages past.
This is where we go.
I know what went on here.
Enough potty talk.
Anyone else?
Or inventions?
Yes.
Or you thought of? I kind of wish I would have thought, like, if we have microwaves that make things hot very fast, why can't we have something that makes things cold fast? Like
yes.
Like the opposite of a microwave.
Without, like, dry freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like you push a few buttons and it makes it as cold as you want it. Yeah.
I think they have it for wine.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
They actually do, yes.
Yes.
We're down to 3 minutes, and I want to make sure that we get to round up any sort of things. I just... excuse me, I was having a little aphasia. It passed. On June 15th, a Saturday at 1 o'clock at the Reading Public Library, our mother organization, Shoestring, is doing a sort of edits and what did we call it? Outtakes of The Great Gatsby. Jamie actually has a folio of the original thing. And so we're putting together a program of different things from that so you can compare and contrast to what wound up in the book and what didn't, sometimes for good reason. 2 minutes. Hurry.
Okay.
So come on down. That's June 15th at 1 o'clock at the Reading Public Library main branch.
So the next
the next show, which is
Baseball.
July
17th.
9 o'clock.
Wednesday.
Is going to be about baseball.
Lots of surprises.
Mark your calendar.
Indeed.
And if I can mention one other thing,
yes.
On June 9th at the Reading Public Museum, which is celebrating its centennial right now, the Reading Philharmonic Orchestra will be playing a concert. The Reading Philharmonic Orchestra has been playing outdoors at the museum for more than half of their century, and so we're going to have a special concert that afternoon celebrating their centennial.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Anything?
I was going to say, also on June 15th is West Reading's Art on the Avenue. But that's a much longer period of time. So go to the museum and see the Gatsby thing, and then we're till the 9 p.m., 8 p.m. usually. It's all-day street fair, vendors, artists, food, music. All the stores have deals and a lot of fun. It's our neatest event of the year, absolutely.
You get to see everybody you know.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, really.
To see Curious.
Oh, yeah.
So, we thank you again for joining us here at That's What She Said, July 17th, baseball. It'll be amazing and wonderful. And
Baseball Town.
Baseball Town, yes, we are in Baseball Town. I have to remind you, now that we're out and about, be kind to your web-footed friends. Because that circus performer could be someone's mother.
Be kind to an ostrich, I guess.
Well, indeed.
We're not going to have ostriches.
Are we going? I hope we get to see the ostriches. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful time. Have a great time till we see you. We'll see you in July. Thank you for joining us on That's What She Said.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.